damaged houses, destroyed bridges, mutilated streets. This is how the Russian invaders left behind the cities and villages of the Kharkiv region. Also, hundreds of units of military equipment. All this was abandoned by the Russian invaders when they were fleeing from the Ukrainian servicemen. We found some equipment the Russian occupiers had left. According to the Ukrainian intelligence, during their retreat, the Russian soldiers took bikes and bicycles from locals in order to escape, or they were just walking by foot. But the elite 237th Regiment of Pskov paratroopers did not have time to escape, so they ceased to exist precisely in the Kharkiv region. According to British intelligence, during the counter-offensive, the Ukrainian defenders have also defeated part of the 1st Russian tank army, which the occupiers had allegedly designated for the war with NATO. The armed forces of Ukraine have undermined the morale of the Russian invaders, in particular from the so-called Luhansk and Donetsk People's Republics. The Russian military authorities are blackmailing them with payments in order to force people to fight against Ukraine. The command of the brigades ordered not to pay financial support to the military personnel who are temporarily absent, in particular are on treatment. The Ukrainian defenders have managed to liberate more than 300 settlements. For more than 6 months, people here had been living under the pressure of the Russian invaders. Now they are meeting the armed forces of Ukraine with tears of joy in their eyes.
Good boys, we've already sunk the red viburnum in the basements.
Flowers are right on the highways in the Kharkiv region. This is now a normal scene. Our people meet the Ukrainian military everywhere with flowers. Some of the liberated settlements are on the border with Russia, so the armed forces of Ukraine go to the Ukrainian border and strengthen it. And on the other territories liberated from the Russian troops, law enforcement officers are recording Russians' war crimes. Up to 200 bloody war crimes committed by the Russian invaders are recorded daily on the Ukrainian territories which are temporarily occupied and those which are liberated from the enemy. During the occupation, tortures and humiliation for the Russian army became a normal scene. After the liberation of the village of Kharkov of the Chuhuivsky district, a local resident turned to the police with a complaint about how Russians had forced him to bury 2 men with gunshot wounds and injuries. These facts will become additional evidence against the Putin regime in international courts. At the same time, law enforcement officers are looking for the accomplices of the Russian occupiers in the liberated territories.
The purpose of the events is to prevent the subversive activities of the Russians and their puppets. Employees of the State Bureau of Investigation, together with the other law enforcement officers, carefully work out the information about people who collaborated with the Russian invaders during the period of temporary occupation.
At the same time, the work of the local legitimate authorities is being restored on the liberated territories, and also the state of critical infrastructure is being studied in order to prepare cities and villages for the heating season in time. So far, volunteers and the local authorities are distributing humanitarian aid to people. The analysts from the New York Times publication are sure that the defeat of the Russian troops in the Kharkiv region could undermine the stability of Putin's regime. After all, the armed forces of Ukraine once again destroyed the myth about the mightiness of the Russian army, which the Kremlin have been cultivating to the Russian citizens all this time. Reported by Pavlo Shtelmach, Ksenia Barvinenko, UATV News.